All right, let's jump right into a really powerful, super dramatic moment from the allegory of the olive tree. We're going to explore this conversation between the Lord of the vineyard and his servant right when things have hit rock bottom for the entire vineyard.
Okay, so we are entering this story at its absolute emotional low point. I mean, after ages and ages of work, the Lord of the Vineyard is just looking out at this total, heartbreaking failure. This one verse really captures all that grief, and it sets the stage for everything we're about to unpack.
So to really get the gravity of this moment, we have to see the vineyard through the Lord's eyes. He's taking stock of everything he's poured his life into, and it's not good.
Verse 46 just lays the problem out, plain and simple. It's a total, universal corruption. Can you imagine? After centuries of careful work, every single tree is now producing nothing good. And the Lord's conclusion is just stark. They're worthless, fit only to be chopped down and burned.
And then here in verse 47, you can just feel the full weight of his sorrow. This isn't some angry, distant judge. This is a lament. He asks, "What more could I have done?" He knows he's given his absolute all. And that leads to the big, agonizing question: who did this? How did everything go so wrong everywhere?
So the Lord asked the question, right? And what comes next is this crucial moment of insight. The servant, who's been right there with him the whole time, he speaks up. He offers a diagnosis.
And the answer, right here in verse 48, is it's stunningly simple. The servant doesn't blame some outside force or say the plan was bad from the start. Nope, he says the problem is internal, a loftiness. The branches have just grown so tall and proud that they've completely overpowered their own good roots.
So let's break that down. What is this loftiness? Well, think of it this way. The roots are the foundation, right? The core truths, the covenants God made with his people. The branches are the people themselves, their ideas, their traditions, their pride. The servant is saying that these man-made branches grew so big and leafy and impressive that they created this thick canopy that blocked all the light and choked off the life-giving connection to the roots.
So with the cause now crystal clear, a fatal internal flaw, the Lord of the Vineyard makes a decision. And honestly, it seems both totally logical and completely final.
Hearing this diagnosis, the Lord's conclusion in verse 49 is that the problem's just too deep. The branches haven't just gone bad, they've wrecked the whole system. From his perspective, the only thing left to do is to burn it all down and start over. He says, "I have done all. It's over."
And this really feels like the end of the story, doesn't it? A final verdict has been handed down. The vineyard is condemned. It seems like there's absolutely no coming back from this point.
But just as that judgment is passed, the entire story pivots on the words of the servant. This right here is where everything takes a dramatic and, frankly, hopeful turn. Look at verse 50. The servant says just 5 simple words: "Spare it a little longer." That's it. It's not some brilliant argument, it's not new evidence, it's just a pure, simple plea for mercy, an act of intercession. The servant is literally standing in the gap, asking for just a little more time.
And what's amazing is that the Lord agrees. Instantly. His response in verse 51 just shows you his true heart. You see, his grief over losing the trees was always way more powerful than his judgment to destroy them. The servant's plea just gave a voice to the Lord's own deepest desire, which was to save, not to destroy.
And this plea doesn't just buy time, it kicks off a brand new strategy. Verses 52 and 53 lay out this final, all-in plan for restoration. It's about going to the farthest corners of the vineyard, finding those original, scattered branches and grafting them back into the main tree. It means plucking out the worst of the bad branches to make some room. The entire goal is to preserve and strengthen those good roots one last time.
Which leaves us with this incredible thought to chew on. The facts didn't change. The vineyard was still a mess. But the plea of one faithful servant completely changed the outcome. It shifted the whole plan from total destruction to one last mighty effort of restoration. It really makes you think, doesn't it, about the power of just standing in the gap and pleading for mercy, both for other people and for ourselves.